to extract the essence. Like, what is it when a person comes to us and they're really angry about something? Like, why are they really angry? And what is the gist or the point of what they're getting at? And how can we, how can we take that into consideration? How can we add that to our balanced list of things that we need to fix or improve and change? And not just kind of the person's angry, okay, we're not going to listen to them. Although it's nice if they're not angry. You guys, if you have something you want changed and you can express it in a positive way, it's a lot easier. It takes a lot less of our time, and it gets interpreted as quickly or more quickly and puts in the queue as quickly or more quickly than opinions that aren't expressed in as positive a manner. And then I think the last thing is just creating tools that let us be able to organize all of this feedback that's coming in. And a lot of those tools are tools kind of like forum management tools, being able to tag forums, being able to, just last week we added the ability for when we add kind of a new feature that there's a lot of opinions coming in on, being able to take those responses and direct them straight to our support box, so we're hearing them immediately, and we can categorize them a lot better to kind of be able to get a tally of like, this many people feel this way, that many people feel the other way, and here's what makes most sense given what the actual ethos of the community is, as opposed to sometimes when it just stays in the forum, you can get 10 people that post 300 messages, and it seems like everybody feels a certain way, but it's actually 5 people that feel a certain way. So tools like this that kind of like let us really understand and get an honest assessment of what is going to be best for the most people. That's something that I think we've been working on for a while now, and it's going to continue to be really important, just as it's going to continue to be important for us to listen to the community in general. Phase number 4 or 5. I'd say this was probably around November 2009, where we sort of get to the end of the basic features, the baseline functionality. And as I was making this slide last night, I realized this is it's a lot of stuff, and it's pretty impressive, but it's also kind of boring, so I decided to add in something to make the slide more interesting. So this is what we've been trying to do, is make a sexy product. We want something that has all the features that people need to be able to operate their e-commerce site. And you kind of look down the list, like booth chat we had from day one, eBay importer we had from day one, CSV importer from day one. I'm not going to read all of these because we're already behind. But I mean, we've constantly been, even in the first year and a half that we've been up, which is not very long in the grand scheme of things, tried to really stay on top of adapting the marketplace, keeping on top of the social trends that are happening, allowing people to leverage Twitter, leverage Facebook, kind of what John had been alluding to earlier, and giving people the tools to be able to be as successful as they want to be. And Judy had kind of touched on that, is that ultimately the success of your business to some degree is going to be dependent not just on what we're doing and not just on our efforts, but it's going to be what you put into it. And so we want to make the best tool set that will allow a person that wants to be successful with their business be successful with their business. And we want to make a tool set that lets a person run their store the way they want to run their store. So those are pretty important to us. The lessons that we learned around this time, well, first of all, it doesn't do us any good to try to compete against companies that are 100 times richer than us on a feature-for-feature basis. Get all this obvious stuff out of the way and then innovate. And so that other list on the last page, that's kind of what I consider the obvious stuff. Like I think at this point have 95% of the features that a seller needs to be able to transact and to be able to run their business the way they want to run it. Certainly there's some stuff we could add, and there's some stuff we could do better, no question about that. But at this point, I think we sort of have that base layer there. We have a lot of exciting stuff that can be really well leveraged if you're, if you talk to the people that know how to use it and if you're willing to put some time into it. And so, to my mind, moving forward, we really need to continue to start to think like, okay, so we have all the things that everybody else have. What are the creative new things we can have? What are the ways we can differentiate ourselves and add features that other people don't have? Features that buyers are going to remember, features that buyers are going to specifically come back to our site because they can't get this stuff anywhere else. I think that's going to be a really important key to taking the marketplace from being a place that's great for sellers and good for buyers to great for sellers and great for buyers. So our formula for success: build a product that's meaningfully better and treat people with respect. But of course, doing this real innovation, doing this differentiation takes heavy artillery, and that means smart people, and that means money. And so, May 2010, we finally have money. This was when we raised our fundraising round. We called in for backup. We got a lot of really exciting, some of the best investors and entrepreneurs in Seattle behind Bonanza. It was just kind of mind-blowing how quickly it all came together once people heard that we were going to be open to doing this. And the people that we got to fund the company, they're exciting people. I mean, one of them was on the Bonanza boardroom this week, Dan Shapiro, and he's like a 10, 15-year entrepreneurial veteran, tons of experience running companies, tons of great ideas. He's one of like 15 different people we now have in our camp, making connections for us, giving us good ideas, helping us figure out how to build the business in such a way that it can continue to grow. And so I think this is what we need to be able to take these great for a seller, good for a buyer marketplace and make it great and make it different than other marketplaces and make it, you know, take the progress we've already made where we've got past the chicken and egg thing, now be creative and do exciting and amazing things with that. Maybe someday after this investment we'll even ask Batman how to fix the shit. I can't rule it out, but I can't guarantee it. So what are our lessons that we kind of came to in getting the investment? It was acting after researching, it's better than acting without researching. Definitely, we had a lot of success in the kind of shoot first and ask questions later approach of the first year and a half of Bonanza, but so many features were just, because it was, you know, me and Mark and later Tom and Elizabeth kind of helping out and support, but from a, you know, get stuff done, add features to the site and fix bugs perspective, like that was me. And I don't have the time to do that stuff and to actually research, like, seems like a good idea, but was it a good idea?
Busy?
Busy was a great idea. But there's some other things that weren't as good. Of course, lots of people's productivity, if you're getting the right people on the site, if you're hiring the right brains, if you're hiring people that experience, that's going to get a lot more done than one person trying to work their butt off all day at home. And because of those things, I think that the most exciting projects, they're the ones that nobody else has done yet. These are these projects that are going to start happening in the next year where we're really going to start to differentiate ourselves from the other marketplaces that are out there, while at the same time we can keep that, you know, transparent, honest environment that lets sellers conduct their business the way that they want to do it. Being able to differentiate, being able to introduce like innovative new features, honestly, to some extent it's going to be trial and error. I mean, we're still going to be trying crazy stuff that sometimes doesn't work, and we're going to be listening to people, and we're going to be looking at the numbers, and we're going to say, okay, we were wrong. We'll try something else now. but that's how you have to do it. I mean, you have to not be scared to change things, and you have to not be scared to mess up every now and then, because it's those mess ups that in some cases are going to be the greatest new thing, and nobody's tried it before, and now you have it and they don't. So I think that's going to be a really exciting thing on the horizon that has now been made possible by the resources that we have available. So what now? Well, if we have one objective, it's more sales for our sellers. I think that more than anything, we have, again, a great set of tools. We have all this baseline stuff. We have passionate community. We have people that evangelize for us. We have, you know, this many people that are willing to fly to Kansas City to, you know, to come talk to each other and get to know each other and, you know, and just have fun. But not everyone is getting as much sales as they want. In fact, a lot of people wish they could get more sales. They wish that they could stop selling on other marketplaces, and they wish that they could just use Bonanza because Bonanza has the community they want. Bonanza has the features they want, and frankly, Bonanza has the fees that they want. So I think that has to be our number one goal, is like figuring out and brainstorming ways, how can we take the existing sellers we have and make more sales for them, be that through giving them more tools to promote, giving that more tools to have better inventory. There's 1,000 different ways we can do this, and they're exciting ways, and a lot of these ways are the ways that we're going to be working on in the next year to differentiate ourselves and get the buyers on the site. I wanted to clarify who our sellers are, because this is another, I think, important aspect of what Bonanza has been and what Bonanza is going to continue to be. Our sellers are smaller, they're passionate sellers. I think that Bonanza is going to continue to be not a place for buy.com and not a place for 50,000 item types of sellers that have all the DVDs in the world and all the computers in the world and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we could do it and we could probably make a lot of money on it, but I think that it dilutes from the focus of the marketplace, and I think if you're going to try to do something really well, you have to have a very specific focus. I think you have to have a niche that you're going after, and you have to have a specific kind of person in mind that you want to serve. And for us, that's these smaller, passionate sellers. So, more specifically, what do we want to do? We want to increase item browsability. We want to help our sellers to take good pictures, write good descriptions, reward the people that do take good pictures and write good descriptions. We want to provide a shopping experience, again, where the smaller and the passionate sellers can succeed. We want to leverage the benefits of our huge product inventory to be able to make better recommendations than any other site on SKU-less items. I made this a long sentence because Amazon, I think, I've said since day one, I love Amazon, and I think Amazon is a great site to use when you are shopping for computer stuff, when you're shopping for DVDs, when you're shopping for books, when you're shopping for anything that's a commodity that has a SKU. Their ability to aggregate all of the people in the world and say, 1,000 people before you viewed this book, and so after that, 500 of them viewed this book. Chances are you're going to want to see the other book that 1,000 people before you viewed, but that breaks down when you get to a marketplace like Bonanza that's sort of focusing on everything but the ordinary. We're focusing on these items that are always changing, that are weird a lot of the times, and that kind of defy description. But I think it's a really exciting challenge to be able to try to get the same benefits that Amazon has, and being able to say, okay, you're looking at bubble wrap. Like, what are some of the other things that a person looking at bubble wrap might be interested in? Like maybe boxes, maybe tape, maybe something like that. And whether Amazon can do that or not, it's harder for them, because if it doesn't have a SKU, then they don't have necessarily one item where they can say, these are the 2 items that you'll want to buy with your first item. And so I think being able to make those recommendations not only makes buyers buy more things when they come to the site, but I also think it's a really exciting opportunity to personalize our experience for buyers, and to be able to do things like send them emails and say, hey, guess what? We just got in 15 new items, and we're pretty sure you're going to like them because we know what your likes and wants correspond to in this vast sea of SKU-less merchandise that's on Bonanza. And finally, we just want people to have fun. We want people to be happy. We want to continue to have a marketplace that you go to and you enjoy selling stuff, and that's the reason you're there, to sell stuff, but you also are there to enjoy the community, and you're also there to get to know people, and you're also there to meet people that have the same passions that you do in terms of whatever merchandise it is that you're passionate about, and whatever things in your life you're passionate about. So that's really important to us, is to keep that social side to the marketplace, and keep that positive, and keep that driving sales moving forward. So it also helps to understand where we're going and what our objectives are, to contrast what our objectives aren't. Here's a couple of them. Growing the site through unsustainable means. This is something that I know, is sort of always something that we're talking about in forums and talking about in the blogs. Is like, how, from a traffic acquisition standpoint, how do we grow Bonanza? How do we make it better? And our take to this point has usually been, well, we build a better product. We build something that's differentiated, that buyers want to go to because they remember it, because it's better than other sites. Many of our sellers say the way you build traffic is you buy it. You spend money on advertising, and you get Google AdWords in there, and you get buyers to come to the site, and once buyers are on the site, then they remember it and they come back to it. I think that advertising is a viable channel, and I think that, especially under the right circumstances, it's a great way to grow a business. I think that eBay and Amazon have done a good job of building their sites through marketing and through advertising money, because eBay and Amazon earn about 10% of a final value fee on every item they sell, and so to them, one sale is enough to spend 25, 50 cents on a click. We make 3% on every item if you average it out over all the items. And for us, if we make 5%, or 5 cents on every item, it's hard to justify spending 20 cents to advertise for that item. And we're kind of competing against these other marketplaces that are spending a lot more than us. And so I think there's interesting ideas. I think there's a lot of things, and we already are doing some marketing at this point to kind of experiment with the different ways that we can make this